Ah, yeah! Skyward Sword party time! Hey guys, HMK here once again with another Zelda video, and Skyward Sword HD is literally upon us, and I cannot wait for the game to release. But I want to make this video to make you understand, should you buy the game? Should you give it a shot? Especially if you are a new Zelda fan, a budding Zelda fan, because when it comes to older Zelda fans, you probably played the game like a million times just like I have. But there's a lot of word on the street and on the internet when it comes to Skyward Sword HD, Skyward Sword the original, and if you should play the game or not, because a lot of people said it's not that good of a game, or it's not even a Zelda game, or it's not a good game in general. Well, the thing is, don't believe the anti-hype, because a lot of people who say that probably haven't even touched Skyward Sword. There's a lot of other reasons that go into the HD release on whether you should get it or not, including the pricing, and we're gonna get to that later. But honestly guys, I need to tell you that Skyward Sword, when it comes to Zelda games, is my number 3 Zelda game of all time. It used to be number 2 before Breath of the Wild came out. Right now it's Breath of the Wild, Ocarina of Time, and then Skyward Sword. You should definitely give it a shot. But when it comes to reasons outside of the game's mechanics, the game's story, the game's bosses, anything like that, that's really up to you. But let me know what you think about Skyward Sword if you gave it a shot, and if others should give it a shot in the comment section below as this video is going on. But the first thing I should tell you guys is that Skyward Sword easily is a cut above the rest, or teetering among the best when it comes to the story, the combat, the dungeon design. I'm telling you right now, Skyward Sword, in my opinion, has some of the best dungeon designs, and music along with bosses. Now I know the meme right now with right now and 10 years ago, all throughout the decade, is the Mike Wazowski boss. Listen, okay, I get the design of that boss was a little hanky-panky, but the design of the fight itself was actually pretty good. And if you are down for some crazy bosses after playing Breath of the Wild and getting tired of the same old Blight, Ganons, Calamity Games, I mean, Maz Koshia was really cool in the DLC. If you're tired of that, then you will be in for a treat when it comes to Skyward Sword and Skyward Sword HD. And if you're one of those new Zelda fans that literally got into the series thanks to Breath of the Wild, there is nothing wrong with that, because yes, one of us, then you will be delighted to know that Skyward Sword actually has a ton of tie-ins and a ton of references going into Breath of the Wild, especially when it comes to the goddess Hylia, why people worship her, praise her, and of course the origin of the Master Sword, along with the origin of the Zelda series that a lot of promotion says it 10 years ago and even now. And the fact that Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be dealing a lot with islands in the sky, you should definitely give this game a shot, because it seems that Nintendo is setting up some huge tie-ins when it comes to the overall aesthetic and what we can learn from Skyward Sword going into Breath of the Wild and Breath of the Wild 2. Now I really hope that you guys give this game a shot, because although it sold well for video game standards, when it comes to Legend of Zelda standards, not a lot of people have played this game when compared to other Zelda games such as Ocarina of Time, Majora's Mask, Wind Waker, and especially Twilight Princess and Breath of the Wild being those top 2 competitive, sales games. Oh yeah. So this time around, I really hope that a lot more people play this game and understand the majesty of the combat, the game, and the story itself when it comes to the relation of the rest of the lineage of The Legend of Zelda. Now we come to the biggest thing that comes to if you should get the game on release or not, and that deals with the pricing, because the game is going to be $60. Now I understand the complaints, I do understand why people don't want to get this game off the bat, considering that it is 10 years old, that the supposed remake or remastering of the game may not warrant the price of $60, even though there are some quality of life changes I feel personally when compared to that of Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, that it's not really up to stuff compared to those other remasters when it came out on the Wii U. I mean, I'm obviously gonna get the game from launch because I'm a huge Zelda fan, and Skyward Sword is one of my favorite Zelda games of all time. But if you're uncomfortable with the price, should you wait? That's really up to you. But something that you should understand is that this is Nintendo that we're talking about. So when it comes to a price drop for Skyward Sword HD or any other Zelda games, especially on the Nintendo Switch or any game in general, you might be waiting a bit to see if the game does drop. However, there are some retailers right now, I'm pretty sure GameStop right now, if you pre-order the game, you know, we still got a couple of days left, you might get it for $10 off. So when it comes to the question, should you buy Skyward Sword HD or not? From my personal take, considering all the probable cons when it comes to pricing and release and all that good jazz, I think you definitely should, because Skyward Sword is an amazing game. Not a lot of people have played it. Don't believe the anti-hype when it comes to the game being bad or anything like that. It is a beauty and a joy to play. Considering that it is 10 years old, understand that, but this HD re-release when it comes to 60 frames per second, all of the game's offerings or whatnot, I feel that you should have a really good time, especially if you did enjoy Breath of the Wild and you want to be set for Breath of the Wild 2. With that being said, I have another video coming up when it comes to things you should know about Skyward Sword HD before the release of the game. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, favorite, and most importantly subscribe to HMK, as well as checking out my Patreon if you want to support for just $1 a month. Let me know in the comment section below if you are ready for Skyward Sword HD and if you're going to pick up the game at launch, or if you're going to wait it out, or if you're not interested at all. Leave it in the comments. So guys, until the next video, this has been HMK, and I hope to see you in Skyloft when it comes to Skyward Sword. Until then, I will check you guys later.